Boy, am I excited for today's show. I have one of my favorite artists coming on here in a moment, and I'll give a quick little introduction right now. He is a fourth generation New Yorker on a relentless mission to reimagine rock and roll. He has played some of the biggest stages in rock, including opening for the Rolling Stones, Muse, Bring Me the Horizon, and The Cult. He recently released the song This Land and the official theme song for the video game Borderlands 4. The new epic music video dropped today. He is currently putting the final touches on a new album, which will be released in 2026. I'm going to welcome to the show Danny Rocco, aka Des Rocs. You ready? Here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Evan J. Thomas here for the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas show, and I got him. He's here. Danny Rocco of Des Rocs. What's going on, man?
Not much, brother. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I got a little test of your new video that dropped today, literally about 20 minutes ago. The new song, This Land, from Borderlands 4. Holy shit. That video is just epic. Like, what did you see after you saw that? Like, what was your take?
I mean, after seeing the cut or when we were filming it, because when we were filming it, it's just a white screen, and the whole time I'm
Exactly. Well, the
thinking, oh,
final cut. The final cut, obviously.
I loved it, man, because making videos can be really heartbreaking. So often you have very little control, and I'm used to having complete control almost over everything I do. But the editing and stitching it together is always in somebody else's hands. So
Mhm.
whenever you get a first cut back that you just don't really have any notes on, and that first cut ends up being the final cut, you're in a really good place. I was super pumped, super pumped.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it is a banging ass video, and I've already watched it like 3 times, and now it's officially out, so it's like, okay, now we can kinda share it with the world. So the kind of little intro that I had for you, what I have here is that you are on a relentless mission to reimagine rock and roll rather than a specific sound. So what does that mean to you today?
It just means to inject rock and roll with a tremendous amount of personality and authenticity that I think is sorely missing in the landscape today. I feel like artists often rush towards sounds and ideas that are already successful and working at the expense of taking tremendous risk, even if that comes at a risk to their career. So, in my quest to turn rock and roll upside down, it's really more about just kind of reaching out of the speakers and grabbing anybody who I can find and just shaking the hell out of them and just saying, like, create art, make music for you, and do something exciting.
Well, it seems like music, like you were just kinda saying, there is a copy and paste kinda ideology going with it, where it's kinda the same sound, it's kinda the same flow. You come along and you just fucking rip it apart and do the whole opposite of that. You're just, like, gritty and grungy, and the vocals are just all over the place. Your live shows, I've seen you twice now. I saw you open for Bad Flower, and I saw you at Bottom Lounge about a year or so ago. So your
Oh,
shows
wow.
are freaking electric, and what goes through your head those first few seconds you get on stage?
The first few seconds I get on stage are just like pure adrenaline and excitement. And honestly, like the first 1 to 2 seconds, I'm just thinking, I hope everything works tonight, because we have there's so many things. The entire show rests on this unimaginable maze of wires and cables, and any single one of them could take the whole show out. So I'm always just hoping, man, I hope everything works. I hope we get to just, and 99.9% of the time it does. Once I get over that hill, and I kind of like settle into my groove a little bit, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like stepping into a warm bath.
So you've been doing this since what I read, you were 13 years old. So you've been on stage, for several years, maybe 6 or 7, I'd say, since, figuring your early 20s. I'll just say that. But when you're out there and you're seeing, the crowd at the age of 13, at the age of 15, like, what do you see differently now than you did then at that age, kind of coming up through the ranks?
Well, I'm a little older than early 20s, but I'll take that any
I
day.
know.
But um, I don't know. I still see the same sense of joy and enthusiasm for rock and roll. I think it is infectious and I think it is timeless. And that's what I like so much about rock music. I love the timelessness to it. I think there's a timelessness that no other genre gets to own. You know, and it's not a timelessness of sound, it's just a timelessness of energy, you know, and of experience. That's why like any sort of like classic rock revival shit, like it doesn't really resonate with me because it is attempting to recreate the past, but that energy of the greats, you know, that is what is eternal, and that is what can live in any era, regardless of what the types of songs are or what the production style is.
Wow. That's pretty freaking deep right there. So
Yeah.
seeing you on stage a couple times now, the first time I saw you, like I said, you were in the Bad Flower opening up. You were at I think it was House of Blues, Chicago. You come out on stage. My girlfriend and I get there early. We had no idea who you were. You come out there, you're dressed up, you're wearing, I think, red leather, kind of have this Michael Jackson look kind of to you. And then boom, you just hit us. And then you had like the Elvis Presley flair, and then it was more gritty, and then it just came down and kind of you had, you know, Jack White kind of sound to you at times. I kind of see all that mix of you. So when you kind of see yourself out there as a kind of like an old soul meets modern madman, who or what shaped that identity? How did you get into that persona?
I don't think it's just who I am, you know, it really is. I am this like musical mutt. You know what I mean? I'm influenced by so many different things, peoples, places, time periods, that all the vastly different things that you just described, like they're all equally accurate and true. You know, I'm influenced by all these people, and it kind of seeps out into this very one unique Des Rock stew. And I remember from that Chicago show at the House of Blues that you're talking about, I remember I had herniated a disc in my back the day before on
Oof.
after a show, and I couldn't walk before the show.
Ooh,
And you know, I was in so much excruciating pain, and I could barely walk. And there was like a physiotherapist backstage who was doing all these kind of crazy needles and concoctions to me and all these things. And they were like, "You're gonna go on in 15, 20 minutes." I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." I had somebody help me put my pants on and put my shoes on because I couldn't do it. And I hit that stage, and for 45 minutes, I could do what I did. And that's a testament to the power of not only adrenaline, but music. And, you know, I felt no pain for 45 minutes. And the second I came off that stage, I had a bunch of people help me
blessed.
back to the room. You know, and it's like I remember that show very, very well, specifically for that special reason. And the fact that you guys didn't even notice, it was just like makes me even happier.
Yeah. I could tell that I would never have even known until you told me this little story here. So something about the Death Rocks persona that somebody wouldn't know from your stage. What about you outside of music kind of molds you?
Outs Outside of music, oh, what's the question? Molds me?
Kind of molds you like into who you are. Obviously music does, but like you said other aspects too. Visuals.
Yeah. Man, I mean, so much of the landscape of New York City is just integral into everything I do. My studio right here is in Queens, and I've got this incredible view of Manhattan. I'm constantly staring at this skyline, whether we're rehearsing or whether I'm writing and making music. And sometimes we will rehearse out on this big balcony and just looking at all of New York City. So it's in keeping with a certain amount of grandness and electricity that's imbued into every component of Des Rocks.
Okay, so you basically have the whole gamut of everything kind of around you that brings it into you. So kind of makes sense. You've been playing pretty big stages, but if you were to have your own kind of dream stage setup, what would it kind of look like? Saying you're on, you know, the biggest stages. What do you have? You have lights, do you have fire, do you have, you know, just is it dark light? Is it white light? Because as a photographer, we like the white lights, not
Yeah, you know,
the reds, not the blues, not the greens. So
I know. I daydream a lot about Des Rock's stage shows, and it's silly because you really have to be at a certain level to achieve any of those.
right,
But I think the biggest thing I'd want, well, look, like one of my heroes is Bruce Springsteen, and you know he doesn't have any elaborate stage
none.
setup at all. He just gets out there and he just rips it, right? And part of me also loves that. Another part of me is a bit more fantastical and over the top. I think it would be really cool to be playing any sort of outdoor stadium and have like a jet fly over, and they have like colored smoke coming out of the back and have it timed perfectly with like the end or downbeat of a certain part of the song. I think that'd be pretty freaking insane to have like two F-15s fly over with shooting out like red and blue smoke or something, you know?
Ooh, okay. I've never seen that, obviously. You could probably pull that
Right.
off with helicopters. I'm just saying it might be a little cheaper than
Right.
flyovers. So you can kind of go in different realms of that. So when you write your lyrics, when you kind of put these songs together, do you visualize storylines about it? Like, do you have an idea of what the video might be or where the story is obviously going to take the listener in your songs?
I'm very visual, so I'm always thinking about like what does this feel, sound, and look like live on a stage. And often when I'm writing, I am like a little kid pretending that I am on a stage. And I'm like, well, what would I do next in this song? Like what would I do next if somebody's up there in the balcony and like they're looking at the show? Like what would be a cool thing, a cool moment to give them in this song sonically? And lyrically, then I get a bit more personal and introverted with the whole thing. But as far as like the music and the arrangement's concerned, it's very visual, it's very live.
And what I see from your live performances too, you're very interactive with the crowd, which to me makes even a better experience because it's more of a one-on-one feel. Do you feel that that is a necessary thing for musicians and performers to do? I know you're musicians, but you're also one of the best performers I've seen as well. There's a lot of performers out there that just do the stand and play thing, which is understandable for their personality. But for you, do you think that's more important to be more personable?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's integral. Like I thrive off that connection and that like real-time feedback loop. You know, I love that. I also love just like the power of lots of people singing something together. Like I think that it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like that's such a beautiful, enchanting thing. So to take that power and to be able to access it every single night is so unbelievably special for me. And sometimes maybe I even do too much crowd stuff and don't just stand there and play enough because I just like I love having it feel communal and that the band is almost like the backbone of this rock and roll experience and the crowd and everybody else is the body. You know what I mean? So we're kind of like supporting it and anchoring it. But at the same time, like it's a very communal, almost like spiritual experience. And that's why we do what we do.
And standing there on the stage when you're looking out, and do you kinda look to a point, or do you kinda, like, make eye contact with people to kinda, again, make it more personable? You probably do a little bit of both, but then if you do make the eye contact, do you ever see people crying over your lyrics and over your songs? Because I know I can get emotional on music, so that's
For
me.
sure. Yeah, I'm doing all of the above. Like I love just kind of like locking eyes with somebody and like almost playing like a game of like chicken and seeing if they break first because it's so funny. The idea of like I'm looking at something in the crowd and they look away.
Oh gosh,
um and I also love like sometimes I just love like watching people mouth the lyrics like that I wrote in like a closet in Queens and that people are singing back to me. It's very special.
and especially in a huge venue or something like that, even in a small club, kinda all works together depending on where you're at. What is the weirdest compliment you've ever received from a fan?
The weirdest my favorite compliment I ever received, it just makes me laugh just thinking about it. Somebody came up to me, a kid a kid came up to me after a show and he said, "Yo, Des, you're like the Elvis of rock and roll." And I lost it. I started dying because I was like, "That is the funniest thing to say, the
How
Elvis
old
of
was
rock."
the kid? I gotta say, how old do you think the kid was?
15, 16. Because if we wanted to if we said like, "You're like the Michael Jordan of rock and roll," or like the this of rock and
Not the
roll.
Elvis Presley, that's a little,
He didn't he didn't really know how analogies worked, and, I just think about that all the time, like, I'm like the Elvis of rock and roll.
well, I
Uh,
mean, you're like the new version of Elvis of rock and roll. There you go. That
yeah.
makes that makes a little bit more sense. A lot of these people, and I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. I'm in the music business in a very variety of things. A lot of people say to me that, rock music is dead. What do you think keeps it alive, and what do you wanna do to keep it alive?
I just think it's a provocative question and thing to say that it doesn't even I don't even know where to begin to dissect it. Like, is classical music dead? I don't know. People still play Beethoven and Mozart songs. Is the heyday in terms of its cultural relevance probably not what it was in another period of time? Yeah, of course, but there's so many factors that are responsible for that. I know it's not dead to me. I know it's not dead to the thousands of people we get to play it to on tour. Things are maybe a little bit more niched down in culture these days than they used to be when things were a bit more homogenous. But rock and roll is well and alive and roaring through every single cell in my body.
There you go. So I mean, it's there, and to me, it's just a lazy take. It's people who don't want to look for new music. People don't want to try new music. When I put on your music to people, they're like, "What the hell is this? Where's this coming from?" I'm like, "It's brand new." They don't get it. They think it's older stuff when they hear it, but with a newer flair. So I love just throwing your music out there. I play your stuff on my radio station all the time. So it's
Thank
one of
you,
those
man.
things that, I kinda get out there. If you were to collaborate with any artist, living or dead, but only had 1 day to do it, who would you pick? I know these are questions
Prince.
that are not Prince, there you go, easy,
Yeah, I do Prince. Yeah, hands down. Yeah.
hands down. And what's your fascination with Prince I mean, there's a
I,
lot of fascinations there, so
I mean, just one of the most, in many ways, while still iconic, yet still very underrated artists, performers, entertainers, musicians, recording engineers of all time. And again, going back to this idea of a complete disregard for the expectations of others and making art that is entirely true to you, there's nobody who embodied that more than Prince. And Prince is kind of like the antidote for a lot of the homogenization of rock and roll music.
there you go. Yeah, I mean, he did it all and brought it all together in different aspects of it. So it was like pop music and rock music all kind of together. So
And just 0 Fs given as far as what genre he was playing in, anything, like, I hate the idea that I can make a song and someone goes, "Ah, that's not a rock song." I was like, "Who cares?" You know what I mean? Like, a song is a song, and it's me, so it's a Des Rock song, and I don't care about what genre it might technically exist in, like, this human desire to put everything into boxes all the time, it's doesn't
mhm.
really apply to art, Those boxes need to get a lot bigger for art than they currently are.
And interesting that you're talking about art on how the progress of it. You see all these bands that kind of change sounds a little bit or mature as they go. Obviously, you've done that since day one, but you see a lot of people with negative feedback to that. Are they just kind of because they're used to one sound and they don't want people to change, or where do you see like the progression of an artist? How do you see that?
I think it all boils down to the intent of the artist. If the intent is to chase something or to have some sort of measure of success in one's career, then yeah, fans that kind of have a right to be a little upset about the artist sacrificing their creative values, those same creative values which brought that fan in the first place. But if the intent is artistic growth and personal growth and to explore and to knock down barriers, then that's a beautiful thing. Whether you swing and you connect and you knock it out of the park, or you swing and miss and fall on your butt. Like, it's taking the big swing that is the most important thing to me.
And every band has basically done it. So there you go.
Mhm.
You're gonna have hits and misses. Even Prince. I mean, I'm not gonna say he had any misses because I don't see any. But in terms of him, he changed up what he did just to kind of, and not even for the times. He just did it to do it. Like you
For
said, take
sure.
chances, no fucks given. He didn't give a shit, so he just went.
I mean, a lot of my favorite bands of all time have tons of songs that I don't like at all and don't think are very
Sure,
good. But it's them creating those songs that is part of the process of them getting to those incredible songs? And that journey needs to be respected, and there needs to be a greater patience for that journey amongst the public today so that we can allow artists to have those incredible moments and incredible songs.
exactly. So what's something about you, Danny, or as Dust Rocks, I'll say both, that people would never guess just from looking at you?
Boy, I'm a lot more shy. off stage, and in reality, I'm a bit more introverted. Like if I go out, I do not like to be the center of attention at all. I'm much more of a wallflower in that respect. Um, I think that's pretty unexpected. I love to read and listen to biographies of people. I do that a lot. I've done that my whole life. I'm very into that, whether it's presidents or writers or anything like that. Um, I draw a lot of inspiration from simply reading things that put me into different time periods, and I love living in different time periods.
And what would a time period or two that you would like to live in? Would have liked to live in?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think I would love to live in like 1970s New York City.
Oh,
Um, I think I'd also love to live in 1920s New York City too.
so the gangster vibe with the punk slash, gritty vibe.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to be an adult and just walk around New York in those time periods.
Yeah, definitely not like a little kid because that's a different view than what you can see now. So
Mhm.
very interesting with that. You have obviously the new music coming out. You have the new song, recent song, "This Land." You have a new album coming out in 2026. Like, what is this vibe of this album looking like currently?
This this album is really building on my last record called Dream Machine. It's really intense. It was recorded live as a full band.
Ooh,
It is very raw, yet recorded so well that it sounds like a really big, beautiful, proper rock album. Um, I'm very excited for people to hear it.
what are some of your early influences and current influences? I hate that fucking question. You can answer it if you want to, but you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
just kind of
everybody.
give a vibe on you too, because obviously we see your look, listen to your music. I want to, kind of a little bit more deep dive, not just musicians too, like actors or movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love so many films. I love the films of Terrence Malick, who creates these beautiful landscapes and touching portraits of love and human connection. And I also, of course, love the work of Martin Scorsese, and I love film and cinema as a whole. I'm definitely obsessed with that art form as well. Musically, I'm inspired by Prince, Queen, Elvis, The Who, Led Zeppelin. I love the greats. I love larger than life rock and roll music meant to unite very different people from across the world in the power of song. And I'm thirdly most inspired by New York City and the electricity and hum and danger and excitement of this place that is the adrenaline to the Des Rock soundtrack.
And outside of New York, do you have like a favorite city that you've been to or a venue that you've played?
I love traveling all over Europe. I
Okay.
love being in Paris. I really do. Venue.
Bless
Oh
you.
my God. My first time I ever sneezed in an interview. Venue, I love a place called Trebendo in Paris, France. Really cool. Oh,
And
no, La Cabaret Sauvage, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of with my horrible New York accent, but Cabaret Sauvage, something like that.
and what
Really
about
cool.
a venue you haven't played that you want to be in?
I'd love to play Forest Hills Stadium in Queens, New York.
And why do I not know which stadium that is? Fill me in.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, it's opened more recently, I think maybe 10 years ago, and, it's a small 100-year-old tennis stadium in Forest Hills, Queens, New
Oh,
York.
okay, gotcha. So it's more of a tennis like venue. Gotcha.
But really cool vibes there. It's in, like, suburban Queens, really cool.
And with the new music come out, like, is there a date that we're gonna be seeing it in 2026? Is there any other singles on the horizon that we will be seeing or hearing soon? What do you got?
Several more singles are coming very soon, as well as a lot of tour plans, and the album will be out in the beginning of next year. I can't say the exact date yet because it
That's okay.
changes every once in a while, but
I know how that goes as a publicist. So it's
mhm.
there is a calendar, but there's also dates that are kind of crossed off and whatnot. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. Rock and roll will never die as long as what?
As long as human beings walk this earth.
Love it. That is a freaking amazing quote right there, man. I mean, that's a quote that
Well,
you can utilize for decades. So,
well,
so we're all
you
going.
set me up, so
I did. I kind of did set
Do the
you up.
alley-oop. Yeah.
Dude, it has been amazing just having you on. I know I wanted to keep this to about 20 minutes. We hit it a little bit longer, but you know what? Anytime I can get you on, even for a few minutes. And next time you're in either Chicagoland area, I travel a lot, so I go all over the place. Cincinnati, I'm going to be there. Definitely be seeing your shows. Hopefully, I get another photo pass to shoot you.
Of
Photograph, not
course.
shoot you. You know what I mean. I don't want
Of
to use
course.
I got to watch certain terminology and using. So is there anything else you'd like to say, to promote before we go? Obviously, you got Borderlines 4, the video game that the song's on. Obviously, the new album coming out. Anything else?
I think that's really it, man. Otherwise, that just buckle up, everybody. That's all I can say.
And what's the most recent movie you've seen at the theater, or do you go to
At
the?
the theater. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of the last time I went to the theater. I don't think I can honestly remember
Damn, I was at
the last time.
One Battle After Another last night.
Oh, I really want to see that. I really
It
want to
is
see that.
amazing. If you
Yeah.
get a chance to see it, you get out and see it. I saw it at one of
Yeah.
the coolest movie theaters in Chicago called Music Box.
Oh, nice.
70 millimeter film too. So
Wow.
amazing. But yes, again, thank you, Danny, for joining me today on the Better Listen Up. You will see him in the upcoming December issue of Sound Fury magazine. And man, thank you so much.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me, brother. Have a good one.
You too.